The card came in the mail. A plastic rectangle, your name on the front. You felt rich for a day. You held it up to the light. You turned it over. You read your own name like it belonged to someone better than you. You thought it was a gift, a sign, proof you had made it, a little. It is not a gift. It is a price tag. The company already decided what you are worth, and it is not what you think. They know things about you. Things your own mother does not know. They know your balance. They know the hour you check it. They know that on the 14th you move $300 out and pull 40 of it back 4 days later. Every time you tap, a fee slides away. From the store to a company you never spoke to. Roughly 2%. They call it interchange. You will never see it. You will never be told. That fee, the rate they charge, the day they raise your limit or cut it in half, all of it is set by a machine with a different price for every kind of person, and it already decided which kind you are. This is the first floor, the floor nobody told you were standing on, and you cannot know yet that what you are to them changes 5 times before the end. Level 1, the secured card. You have no credit history. To this machine, that is worse than bad. Bad credit is at least information. You are a blank page they cannot price. You learned this the hard way. 3 applications, 1 week, 3 flat emails that did not explain themselves. So they make you pay first. You hand them $500, your own money, in cash. They hold it. That deposit becomes your limit. Read that again. You are lending yourself your own money and paying them to borrow it back. The annual fee is $39. You are paying them to babysit money you already gave them. You count it out on the counter, 20s, a few 10s. Money you saved over 4 months, an envelope in a drawer. You slide it across to a woman behind glass. She does not look up. She has done this 1,000 times. To her, it is paperwork. To you, it is 4 months of staying home. You watch the envelope vanish into a drawer. You watch it the way you watch a wound close over something still inside. The card is thin, cheap plastic. It bends. The finish scuffs in your pocket within a week. The numbers are printed flat, not raised. You tap it at a gas station off the highway. It makes the same beep as everyone else's card. For 1 second, you feel normal. You are not normal. You are collateral. You are a risk they took only because you agreed to cover it yourself. At this level, they lend you nothing. They rent you the feeling of being trusted. They hold your own money as the deposit. That is what you are to them. A deposit with a name. Level 2, the subprime card. 18 months pass. The secured card did its job. A new offer arrives. You tear it open. No deposit required. A limit of $1,000. The envelope says pre-approved. And the word pre-approved does something to you. Something you would be embarrassed to say out loud. The card is plastic again. Glossier now. Deep blue. A tiny hologram catches the light. The numbers are still flat. You slide it in next to the secured card. For the first time, you feel like you have options. Here is what nobody tells you. The interest rate is 29.99%. That is not a typo. That is not an accident. It is the highest legal rate they could find. And they gave it to you on purpose. The machine ran the numbers on a person exactly like you. It concluded one thing. You will carry a balance. And you do. A car repair you could not predict. $400 you did not have saved. You pay the minimum. The minimum is $35. Almost 10 of it is interest. The balance barely moves. You do the math in the parked car outside the mechanic. Nearly 2 years to pay it off. Almost 200 more in interest along the way. You feel the heat climb up your face. The specific heat of seeing the trap only after you stepped in it. This is the level where you meet Dale. Dale fixes the espresso machine at the cafe where you pick up weekend shifts. He carries 4 cards. He knows the float on every one. He can tell you which card posts on the 3rd, which posts on the 19th. He moves money in a slow circle. He keeps each one barely alive. He calls it juggling. He leans on the counter. The machine hisses. The milk wand drips. He tells you he has paid the minimum on the same $1,800 for 9 years. He says it like a fact about the weather. You ask him, half joking, if he ever thinks about just paying it off. He laughs, not unkindly. He says he ran the numbers once. Paying it off would take every spare dollar for a year. He would rather have the dollars now and the debt forever. You laugh too in the moment. You stop laughing on the drive home because you saw it, under the joke, the exact shape of your own next 9 years. To the company, Dale is not a problem. Dale is the best thing that ever happened to them. The person who pays in full every month costs them money. The one who never carries a balance is a freeloader. But you and Dale, the ones who carry it and pay the interest and never quite escape, you are the customer they built the whole product to catch. You are not a person in debt at this level. You are the most profitable customer they have, and the only thing they fear is that you might one day pay them off. Level 3, the Prime Rewards card. Something changes in your 4th year. You pay off the Subprime card. You start paying in full. Your score crosses the line they care about, and the offers change tone overnight. Now they want you. The card that arrives is heavier, still plastic at the core, but laminated now. A soft touch coating that feels expensive against your thumb. And for the first time, the numbers are raised. You run your finger over them in the parking lot before you even activate it. The small ridges of your own account number. There is a quiet animal pleasure in it you do not fully trust. 2% cashback, a $200 bonus, no annual fee. Suddenly they are paying you to use them. The phone calls change too. For 4 years, the only calls were about a payment you missed. Now, a friendly voice asks if you would like a higher limit, if you are happy, if there is anything they can do. You did not change as a human being. You did not get wiser overnight. One number on a report crossed a line, and the whole personality of the company turned toward you, like a flower toward the sun. You feel like you beat the game. You did not beat the game. You became useful to it in a new way. Here is the number that should stop you cold. You sit down one night. You never did this at the bottom. You add up every dollar of interest you ever paid to a credit card company. Every card. The last 6 years. The number is $11,400. $11,400. More than the secured deposit. More than every reward you will ever earn on this shiny new card. More than the down payment you keep telling yourself you are saving for. You did not lose it in a crash, not a scam, not a bad bet. You handed it over $35 at a time, on Tuesdays, paying the minimum, feeling responsible. The rewards card gives you back 1.5 cents on the dollar. The money it already took is sitting in a number you will never get back. You are finally an asset they want to keep, but only because they already counted what you cost to acquire. They know you will spend enough to earn it back. You are a customer now, just a customer they decided is worth a small discount. Level 4, the premium card. You make real money now, and the card in your wallet costs $550 a year just to hold. It is metal. You take it out of the envelope and the weight surprises you. The cold of it. The way it lands on the restaurant counter with a sound the plastic ones never made. The waiter glances at it. You pretend not to notice that you noticed. The card has a heft that has nothing to do with what it can buy, and everything to do with what it says. They sell you the fee as a deal. Lounge access, a travel credit, a hotel credit, a statement credit for a streaming service you already pay for. They lay it in a clean little grid. They show you the perks are worth more than the fee. On paper they are, so you tell yourself the fee is free. You even do the addition yourself on the back of an envelope. They trained you so well that you will now defend the fee on their behalf. It is not free. You pay $550 a year to feel like the kind of person who pays $550 a year. The lounge has stale crackers, a crowded bar, a line for the bathroom. It is full of other people who also paid for the feeling. You use the travel credit twice. You forget the hotel credit entirely. They knew you would. The whole fee is priced on the certainty that you will not use most of what you bought. The weight of the card in your hand at the restaurant is the actual product. You bought it. The perks are the wrapping. The weight is the thing inside. You set it down. You remember the thin, scuffed plastic at the bottom, how that one made the same beep on the reader as this one does. The reader does not feel the weight. Only you do. Only the people at the table do. You are a status at this level, and the company is renting it to you by the year. The metal is real. What it signals is real to the people watching you set it down. But you do not own the status. You lease it, annually. And the day you stop paying the fee, the status is repossessed in full. Level 5, the invitation. You cannot apply for this one. There is no application, no advertised fee, no published limit, no rate printed anywhere. You can only be invited. And you are invited only when their data on you crosses a threshold they will never name. One day, it simply arrives. Heavier metal still, matte black, your name laser etched into the face. The card weighs more than any object that small has a right to weigh. It is the recurring weight of this whole story. Thin plastic at the start, a black stone now. It sits in your palm like something pulled from the bottom of a river. This is the level the whole game was selling you. The black card. The one people photograph and post. The one that ends conversations at the table. You have it now. You should feel like you arrived. You do not feel like you arrived. Here is the anticlimax, and it sits at the exact top of the ladder, where you were promised the trophy. The black card is not a trophy. It is a leash with a longer rope. They did not give it to you because you won. They gave it to you because your spending is now a product they sell. The concierge who books your flights is gathering data. The access to events and designers and restaurants exists because those designers and restaurants pay the company. They pay for proximity to people exactly like you. There is a moment in the first week. You set the card on a hotel desk. The clerk's posture changes before you say a word. He stands a little straighter. He calls someone. A room you did not pay for becomes available. You feel the warm certainty the card was built to make you feel. Doors are opening. For one evening, you believe it is about you. It is not about you. The clerk was trained to react to the card, not to the person holding it. The upgrade was a cost the hotel pays to keep someone who spends what you spend. The warmth you felt was a transaction closing on a ledger you cannot see. The only variable that mattered was the matte black weight you set on the desk. You are no longer the customer at this level. You are the inventory. The company stopped selling a card to you. It started selling you, your attention, your spending, your photograph of the matte black card. It sells all of it to everyone on the other side of the velvet rope. And the people you see flashing it, setting it down a half second too slowly so the table can see, posting the weight of it. They are not the people who won. They are the people still paying for it. The card is heaviest in the hands of the ones who can least afford to set it down. So look at what you were. Across the 5 floors of this building,
At the bottom, you handed them $500 of your own money. They rented you the feeling of being trusted. You were collateral, a risk they priced before they knew your face. 1 floor up, you carried a balance at 29.99%. You were the most profitable customer they had. 1 floor up, you started paying in full. You became an asset worth a small discount. 1 floor up, you paid $550 a year for a status you could only lease. And at the top, where the card turned to a black stone with your name burned in, you stopped being the customer at all. You became the thing they sell. The card changed in your hand the whole way up. Thin plastic that scuffed in a week, then glossy plastic, then a laminated card with raised numbers you traced in a parking lot, then cold metal that landed loud on the counter, then a black stone you were invited to hold. 5 cards, 1 hand. The same fingers that could not afford a $400 repair, now holding the object that ends rooms. But the company never changed at all. The interchange fee moved the same invisible 2% on your first secured tap as on your last black card dinner. The machine that priced your life at the bottom is the same machine pricing it at the top.
The only thing that ever changed was what you were worth to it, and which of its many prices it decided to charge you. At the bottom, you were collateral. At the top, you were inventory. In between, for one brief stretch, you were almost a person. Somewhere right now, someone is tearing open an envelope, feeling rich for a day, a plastic rectangle with their name on it. They think the card is for them. They do not know yet what it costs. They will learn. They always do. The company does not stop pricing you, it just finds the next one. The card in their hand is thin plastic today. It will turn to metal. They will mistake the weight for arrival. And the card was heaviest at the exact moment it stopped being yours.